All right, Mr. Okuhu, let's start with you. Let's talk about the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Meanwhile, let me mention that is not today's clip. We just brought that to refresh us of what the entire ceremony looks like. All right, so let's talk about the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Do you think it's still relevant, you know, in today's current reality?
It is, and it will continue to be,
Okay.
to the extent that we are a nation of men, of territory, needing to protect the territorial integrity of this country with soldiers and members of the armed forces fighting and employed to make this happen. To the extent that we have internal security challenges, which is still growing, that still require soldiers to pay the supreme sacrifice, lay down their lives, or potentially lay down their lives to make sure that the rest of us are secured. So this whole thing started, I think, shortly after the Civil War, when our men went to war against ourselves, unfortunately, then. And those who were managing the country then thought that it was necessary to have such a day, not just to give respect to those who have passed on, but for the lessons from the tragic incidents of the Civil War to remain with us as an annual refresher. So to the extent that we have not so much learned from what happened during the Civil War, to the extent that we still have major security challenges in some parts of the country, kidnapping, Boko Haram, and increasingly herdsmen menace, it is still relevant.
Let me butt in here because the issue you mentioned of the bloodbath, you know, at the Civil War and all that is why some people on social media are saying the day, which is the 15th of January, should not be celebrated anymore because, you know, it's a day that brings back bad memories. So what do you think, Mr. Kupolui?
Well, we cannot shy away from the fact that it was a period, I mean, the Civil War, like you said, you know, was a period, a dark spell, you know, was cast on this country.
Sure.
And then, of course, people without history, you know, definitely would not have a future. So I would not agree with those who said it shouldn't be cancelled or it should be forgotten or be put in the rubbish of history. I feel that it helps us to actually project, look at where we're coming from, and why we should be united as a people, as a nation. You know, the Nigerian Civil War was rather unfortunate, but I tell you one thing, we've not actually learned our lessons from it, and that's why we have these pockets of crisis here and there, ethnic, religious, and whatever, you know. And I feel that should not be part of us. You know, Nigerians still need to be educated on why they have to be united. You know, to some people, they want to break away from Nigeria because they never saw the Civil War as justifiable enough for them to continue. So for me, I feel it should be continued, but then, you know, the essence should be taught the younger generation.
Okay.
Why are we having this Remembrance Day? It's not all about the charade, it's not about the parade, it's not about the march past, it's not about the gunshots, it's not about the gun salutes, it's about the fact that what really happened, what are we remembering?
How many Nigerians even know what today actually signifies?
So exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So for instance, on national television today, that should be the documentary that should be repeated over and over again. For instance, in schools today is Monday, teachers should be able to tell children, our pupils, that look, today's the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, and this is why we are celebrating it. It's not just about march past. It's not about going to the stadia around the country and marching. We must be able to know why did we create this day, and of course it's because we want to be united, because some people have actually toiled, fought for the unity of this country. They lay their lives, you know, and of course, you know, we should remember that Yoruba man did, Hausa man did, Igbo man did, and of course all of them should be remembered, and because they fought for one Nigeria. That, in my opinion, should be the reason we should keep celebrating these lost heroes, you know, and then for Nigeria to be united, you know, forever.
Okay, now we're actually talking about the lost and the fallen heroes now. Let's talk about the soldiers themselves, rather the armed forces, the men that are actually still there in power and serving. Do you think the civilian out there is really, I was just discussing something with patients then, that when you get to see a soldier on the road, what comes to your mind is not even respect, it's fear.
That is part of the trade of the education we should pass on to our children, even to soldiers. I remember when I was very young, you know, right there in Ibadan, it will be a very, very rare day to see a soldier man. And when it comes to town,
Fully kitted.
we all run away because that is a force coming in.
Yes.
It's rather unfortunate that is what they represented at that moment. But now we are moving to democracy, so our perception of a Nigerian soldier or Nigerian army should be different now. And that is the essence of training, essence of education. You know, our civic study need to tell us that the soldier man is your friend. You know, it's only in Nigeria that you need to beg, pay, bribe to join the army. It's only in Nigeria.
It's voluntary.
You know,
Yes. More importantly is the orientation of the soldier himself.
Himself, yes.
What does he see his job?
How does he see
To be.
himself? Yes.
What does he understand is the relationship between himself,
And the
the
citizens.
military he represents, and the rest of the country?
And that is the essence of training,
You
education
understand? So
of the citizenry and the army. You know, their course should be changed, should be reviewed to acknowledge the fact that they have a social responsibility, they have a citizenship, they have a citizen's role to play. You know, that their role is majorly to protect the citizens and of course to be their friend, not a threat. You know, if somebody tells you that we have a battalion of soldiers outside Galaxy TV now, we all will be looking for where
to hide.
To hide. Yeah. You know, we don't see them as friends who have just come to tell us one thing or the other, but they probably and just to come and unleash terror.
All right. Now, very quickly, before we move on to the next topic, let's talk about the welfare package for these armed men. The issue of underfunding has always been on the table, you know, where the army is concerned. Do you think the government is doing enough? I know they're always in the budget, somehow, but is it enough what the government is doing?
I am not sure it is enough.
Okay.
Defense budget can never be enough. I somehow had very close relationships with the military, starting from when I was doing my NYSC. I served in a military cantonment, 221 Lifetime Battalion in New Busa, Niger State.
Okay.
And I experienced firsthand the challenges of underfunding, the challenges of welfare, the challenges of everything that it takes to give the soldier self-confidence. It is never there. One, their salaries are usually not enough. At that time, it was coming as an wind due, but at 22nd or 3rd, the soldier is already buying Gero, Gary, and all those ones from the money market on credit. It is not enough, and even at their demise, when they pass on, what does the institution have for those
They left behind.
they left behind? Because
Yes.
that is even more important. When the person is alive, he can borrow, he can do a few things to make ends meet. He can get some so-called juicy postings where they see a few inflows aside their salaries.
But when
they are gone, what do you do to make sure that the life of the Nigerian soldier, that the life of the Nigerian soldier, so sacrificed,
It's
so
propagated,
cut short,
exactly,
is of value? At the senior level, you know, there's a sharp line between those from warrant officer backwards and those upwards. The other, they are created, they are hired to be comfortable. These guys are hired because they have to make the officers comfortable.
They are the footmen.
Yes, it must stop. There must be a sense of purpose for the officer as for the soldier. There must be, I'm not saying they should become equal, but that sense of fulfillment, yes, I am wearing this uniform, should be equal for both officers and men. Because when you're at the back, giving the command in the battlefield, somebody is in front, taking charge, confronting the enemy head on.
Okay. And do you think this is actually going to encourage the youth out there to probably want to go into the army? Yes.
Let me tell you, while we have a lot of the issues we have across the armed forces in this country, it's only of late that people started saying, I want to be in the army. When it started from police, if you trace back to back in the days, it is those that the family have identified as potentially not going to do well. And they will say, go and join the police.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Rascals.
It is those that are giving the community problems that are saying, go and join the army. Not for them to work, but where they will suffer.
They will straighten out.
You understand? And become, like you said, they will straighten out. So, even when some of us were growing up, if you check, with all due respect, but if you check most of the people at the Commissioner of Police upwards now, chances are you are finding those who made third class in the university, who were finding it difficult to get hired in the regular employment space, and they just conveniently go over there. And that is why you have some of these things. Of late, probably because the career field is choking up, a lot of other people, smarter people, are now saying, I want to be in the army. I have never seen a parent
Who would willingly?
not willingly, who, even as we are in the social media revolution, who confess on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, no, that my kid told me he wants to be a soldier.
Okay, I think I've said it on national TV before, that I have a daughter who wants to be a policewoman, and she still wants to be.
It is very, very rare. Just for us to tell us.
Frankly
All right,
speaking,
Mr. Kupoli,
frankly
quickly.
speaking, there are some families who actually, guide their children to go into the armed forces.
I know the case of Sanusi's son who joined the police.
We have a lot
That's
now,
an aristocrat,
a lot. Yeah.
so you can imagine. Even among the aristocrats, is a right line of a career for them. But I don't want to argue with him on that. But I know there are quite a number. But then there are indications. I mean, nothing indicates more than the fact that the Nigerian army is not well taken care of. The Nigerian soldiers are not well taken care of, and that is about the fact that even their uniforms, if you know the politics are going into buying those uniforms, even the pips. If you get promoted, you are promoted. You're supposed to be provided those pips.
Well, you pay.
So you go and buy.
Yes.
There is a market for it. It's just unfortunate. That is why we get to see many people going about in fake uniforms. Because the uniforms are
because
not
they are
available.
out.
Even the ranks are available for people to buy. So all these point to the fact that the soldiers, our members of the Nigerian Armed Forces are not well taken care of. But then there is also the problem about the fact that their welfare. How do we treat Nigerian soldiers? How do they even present themselves? I have the virtue of having my son. My first son is the U.S. Army, and I know how he's well protected, how he's well taken care of. How maybe they want to enter a plane, and then how they are well taken care of, given priority in everything they want to do. I've had many times
because they're doing selfless service, rendering selfless
opportunities with them. I mean,
Yes.
those opportunities that that career has availed him. And of course that is what we should make our Nigerian armed forces to reflect.
True.
Something that young boys, girls will love to join. I think that is the only way we can actually make a difference. If we can have our youth, coming out willingly. Look, we have a problem of these artsmen and whatever. The presence of a soldier, or the charge of a Nigerian army in somewhere should be able to scare anybody to make able to fall in line and behave yourself. But it doesn't happen in Nigeria. That is because that institution has since lost its glory.
Wow.
And